It is Wednesday, December 6th, and the Give and Go Show is back in your life. We have another Matt and Matt show again this week as Griffin and super producer Elliot is unable to join us. It feels like whenever we do these Matt and Matt shows, it just happens to be right before or right after Eagles Cowboys. It's just like, I wonder if Griffin and Elliot know that let's just give them their space. We're going to leave.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'd love to talk about Sunday night, might not be good for my health to focus on it quite yet. Got a few more days.
That's true. I mean, would you say you've been waiting all day for Sunday night?
Yeah, got me some Carrie Underwood in my head, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting all day for that song. I don't know if I'm waiting all day for the game, but anyways, yeah. No Griffin, no Elliot in today's show. Just going to be a Matt and Matt show. Hashtag thanks, Matt. What we're going to do today, talk about the in-season tournament, which I think is a smashing success. I'm not going to say that it's like it's not obviously the same level as like playoff basketball, but I think it's awesome. And for the regular season, like for actually to get people to care about the regular season, I think is awesome. And then after that, we're going to do an NBA stock report. So we're each going to choose one team that we're going to choose that their stock is going to go up, and then one team that their stock is going to go down. And we're going to do the same thing with a player. So we'll set that up a little bit when we get to the stock report. First, starting with the in-season tournament, the Final Four is set. Pelicans, Lakers, Pacers, Bucks. What are your thoughts, just kind of open-ended, on the in-season tournament?
Dude, so much fun. I mean, you say like playoff atmosphere, but not playoff basketball. It's sort of like the FIBA tournament to the Olympics, where it's not like, doesn't make or break it, but there's still the intensity there. And honestly, some of the stars of FIBA are shining, specifically Tyrese Halliburton. That game, that Pacers Celtics game. Yeah, Austin Reeves coming up big. I mean, he was huge in the third quarter, coming up with the clutch shot and the clutch losing the ball, as LeBron called the timeout.
Clutch timeout, yeah.
Say, are we doing Whistlegate here? I know Griffin's not here, but
yeah,
I mean apparently LeBron called timeout before that all happened.
Yeah,
I think it was a terrible call, but
I saw the ref report that like he called it at the right time. There was a whole ref discourse after Sunday night with the Packers and Chiefs, which was, I don't know if you watched that game, not an NFL show, just a debauchery of a ref show. My official take on the refs,
the NBS play,
the pass interference, the late hit on Mahomes, like they had no idea what they were doing. My official ref take is that refs are people and people make mistakes. Like when someone drops a pass or misses a throw, it's annoying. We just kind of accept it. I think we have to accept that with refs. I think it was a bad call with the timeout last night. Like I think it was obviously like, I guess I haven't seen the replay of LeBron calling it before he lost the ball is what I'll say. Like when he called timeout, that ball was out of his hands.
Yeah. And that's what, they're saying. I have a few buddies that are Lakers fans, of course, just like everyone's a Cowboys fan, everyone's a Lakers fan. So, like waits for the last 2-minute report to come out. I'm like, you're telling me the NBA is not going to back their guys. Like, I feel like they do whatever makes the most sense, like politically, just to get the most people to agree with you or the least people to be upset. When it comes to like NFL reffing, I feel like there's so many times you can call a penalty. I'm like shocked when they don't call a flag sometimes. Yeah. For basketball, I feel like it's like they're just focusing on holding every time. Like it's always like when they're driving in the paint, there's contact. There's less to focus on, but I think they're moving so fast. It's impossible. It's hard to do.
It's impossible.
I just don't know why you don't allow for more challenges. Just like there's already enough breaks in the game. We already have so many commercials. Wouldn't they want more breaks to take a look at stuff, to have more commercials and players to have timeouts? Like, I just think it's something where there needs to be either more technology invested or for there to be like actual replays where you say, this is what happened. It actually happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's human athletes. And so a lot of the times where it's like, was that in bounds? I really can't tell. Like one angle it does, one angle it doesn't. Except that one, I know the Kevin Durant tiptoe on the sideline when he was on the Warriors and he was like completely out of bounds.
That was bad.
Hilarious and comes to mind. But back to the in-season tournament, I was watching the games. The Celtics are missing Kristaps Porzingis, which is huge because I was just looking at a lot of the advanced stats to prepare. He's top 5 in win shares added, which on the Celtics, when you just look at how stacked they are, the fact that he does have that much of an impact is saying something. So I'll give the Celtics a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there. They still brought the energy like it was a playoff basketball game. Derek White is a freaking baller.
He's so good. And they just stole him from the Spurs. Such bullshit. Yeah.
He's incredible. But the Pacers, man, like speaking of guys, and we'll get into the soccer report later, but Tyrese Halliburton he's awesome. Leading in so many statistics.
He's awesome.
I was listening to a little bit of the low report or the low post report
with JJ Redick.
With JJ Redick,
yeah, I listened to that one.
Halliburton is Redick's boy. I feel like he's constantly been like talking up and gassing up Halliburton. Even last season, like when that trade happened, I think he was one of the first people to come out and be like, "What the hell were they doing trading away Tyrese Halliburton?" Like he's incredible.
He's awesome.
The potential is there. I love the moonshots. Like he literally crossed up Drew Holiday, hit a 3-pointer,
and won. Was that the and one? Was that over Drew Holiday? Yeah.
That was the one that like put him up 5, I think, at the end. I'm talking about another play earlier where he was not on the corner, but bringing it down, had the ISO 1-on-1 and just straight up crossed him up and hit a 3 in his face. And it's like, that's one of their best perimeter defenders.
Yeah, you can't stop that.
Like, and he made a good point where he was talking about like Nikola Jokic was the comparison because he's a guy that you can run an offense around. Like Tyrese Halliburton is that special a player where you can actually build an offense around him, like a team identity solely around the player. And they've just been incredible to watch. Pacers, I'm so happy that they ended up getting the win. I can't wait to see more of them. The Lakers, because it was close and everyone's going to talk about the call, that was one thing, but I love seeing another LeBron versus KD matchup. Honestly, as the Nets fan, I was just like, God damn, Kevin Durant cannot miss a shot. He's shooting 50% from 3 this year, and it does not surprise me. Like, anytime Phoenix needed a bucket, he was there. He looks just as good as he ever has. I think I'm selling stock on Father Time because LeBron James and Kevin Durant are still dominating.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple L's for Father Time. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited for these matchups. I think the Pelicans-Lakers is going to be really interesting because I think they both are teams that do well against bigger teams. Like they'll give the Timberwolves problems, they'll give the Nuggets problems, and the Lakers and Pelicans are both those teams that are kind of the lesser of those teams, in my opinion. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of happens with that matchup, how they try to neutralize each other. I honestly think this is probably going to be a lower scoring game just because the Lakers like to tone it down. They're not going to try to push the ball as much on offense. And the Pelicans, let's see like what their offensive identity is. Who's really going to take over? Zion is healthy, which is great. Just the more games that he plays, the more that he can kind of get into shape and maybe get to where he was last year when the Pelicans were 19-9 and everyone was picking him to maybe put it together that year finally. But yeah, I can just keep going on and on. What are your thoughts of the in-season tournament?
No, by all means. Yeah, I'm not going to stop you. I mean, it's a very fun Final Four. I think the Pelicans, they're roughly 500 on the year. I think they're 2 games above 500, something like that. But they're finally whole. CJ McCollum's back. Trey Murphy's back. And I love Trey Murphy. He's awesome. He's so good. And he's perfect for that team because he can shoot and play defense. And it's like they desperately needed his shooting and CJ McCollum. And then Pacers Bucks is a super fun matchup. I mean, the Pacers are fun just no matter who they play, just because they don't play defense and they're electric on offense. So that's just leads to fun matchups. But that game's going to be fun. I saw someone on Twitter, I forget who, posted like the NBA really has to hope that the Lakers and Knicks make it to the finals because nobody's going to watch any other team. And this was before obviously the games last night. But it's like nobody's going to watch Bucks Suns. Nobody's going to watch that. Like if only there was an important event that these two teams just played in recently, or it's like no one's going to want to watch Tyrese Halliburton, who's been on fire. Like it was a really stupid take. So like I think even if it ends up being Pelicans versus Pacers, like that would be super fun. It's like very stylistically different the way those two teams play. I think it's going to be Lakers Bucks because it's just going to be Giannis versus LeBron. Like I think that's just what's going to happen. I do think LeBron is gassed. He even I don't know if this was a quote today or after the game, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to spend some time to get myself right physically and mentally." Like I think he put a ton into the game last night. And he was great. Like 31 points. What do you have? Like 9 assists or something like that.
I was gonna say, weren't the first like 20 or so points. I know I'm getting it wrong, but like he like scored or assisted on all of the Lakers' first points in the
something
fourth
like
quarter.
that. Yeah.
I'll never get tired of watching him just like zip a pass underneath the rim. He had one to Naz Reid earlier where he just like, or Torian Prince, not Naz Reid, he's on the Wolves, but Torian Prince, he just like no look, just like beamed it to him under the rim and he caught a layup. Did something else. He always does these bounce passes where he like kind of no looks it.
Yeah,
and he gets like
he loves doing
flings those in the paint. Like it's just so much fun to watch. The fact that he can still take over. He's kind of like what James Harden thinks he can still do. And I always thought that like out of like Luka, James Harden, LeBron, like the guys that are real game like not game managers, I don't want to say, but like quarterback. I forgot who tweeted like, no disrespect, LeBron might be the best quarterback in basketball because he really does direct everything. And if you are able to, like the Lakers do, like play good defense, force bad shots, and then just work the half court offense and like make it a slugfest, they can like fight with any team, I feel like, which is why they're doing well in the tournament. Where coming into it, I mean, I think they're still like the 9th seed or something right now. I think they're like overall
5-0 in in-season tournament play, and what?
Actually, look, no, they're the 4th seed. They're 13-9.
13-9, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're 5-0 in in-season tournament play, and they're 8-9 in every other game. I think that's the case. Don't quote me on that. I saw a stat somewhere about that.
They're undefeated and they haven't lost since. So yeah, that makes sense because they're the 1 seed in the in-season tournament.
Exactly, and then they won, so they would have been 5-0. Yeah, which is kind of funny. So if you had to make a prediction right now, who's going to be in the finals and who's going to win the final?
I would love to. I'm going to go chalk, or I guess not really chalk. I'm just going to go with the more experienced players. I'm going to go with the Bucks versus the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think LeBron wants it.
Me too. I think he really wants it.
I think LeBron wants it, and I think Giannis wants it because for all this talk, and I was listening to the Ringer NBA podcast, and they were all trashing the in-season tournament and making fun of like,
because Boston lost, so
yeah, like the Pacers will like hang it as their banner, like what crappy teams do. No, this is like a really cool award. I think you saw KD talking about how cool it was to have the playoff intensity. And, they're like, hey, we might not have cared before, but like we do now. Like once the games actually happen, you show that it does mean something. But you're telling me that like 2 of the guys who want to win more than anything do not want to win the first inaugural NBA in-season tournament. Like they definitely do.
Yeah.
Part of what Giannis makes him so special, because the Bucks are healthy. I mean, I was watching their games and it's like Bobby Portis is out there, Chris Middleton is out there, and he looks more like Chris Middleton. Brooke Lopez looks great flying around the court. Dame looks good. I mean, he has his shaky moments, but then besides like Curry, I don't know if anyone has just a more pure 3-point shot. Every time that goes in, it's like the perfect swish when Dame hits it. And Giannis is just so unique because in transition, he is just the most incredible player. If you make a mistake, it's an automatic 2 points no matter what. I'll never get tired of watching him bounce it once when he crosses half court, taking 2 steps and being able to finish it. Like, it's like, that's insane. But yeah, I think just Bucks are playing really well. Advanced stats and everything back it up. I think they're clicking. The Pacers are good, but they also give up a lot of points. And Giannis is just such a tough matchup. Yeah.
I mean, for you betting people out there, just bet Halliburton and Giannis to score like 40 points each because the Bucks can't guard the point guard and the Pacers can't play defense. So if they're going to try, I think they're both going to go off. But I agree with you. I have Lakers. I think it's going to be Lakers versus Bucks. I think the Lakers are going to win. I think LeBron really wants it. And good for him. Like, it's the first one ever. He's like accomplished like basically everything a NBA player can accomplish. So yeah, win the first season tournament. Like have that as part of your resume as well. I think unlike people are going to clown LeBron for anything. I don't think this is something that he should be clowned for caring about winning this first in season tournament. People are going to call it a Mickey Mouse, whatever, because it's LeBron. But yeah,
haters gonna hate.
Yeah, haters gonna hate. Exactly. Yeah,
like
I mean,
he's been on the top since he's been in the league. It's kind of crazy. Ime Udoka calling him a bitch, and it's like I love whoever put the like 2-minute clip together of all the times LeBron made him look like a bitch on the actual court. Pretty hilarious. Like
I mean, any clowning of Ime Udoka is gonna be something that I would enjoy. So in terms of winning, I don't know. Did you say Lakers or Bucks? I can't remember.
I'm gonna take out of the Lakers and Bucks. I'm gonna take Milwaukee. I think I just think they're a little more talented. I could actually see Dame time coming in clutch in that type of a game. I think like LeBron and Giannis, not that they would neutralize each other. I just think the biggest decider in that, because Giannis could make Anthony Davis get into foul trouble at some point. I think that could be a possibility. And I just feel like Dame scoring kind of gives Milwaukee the edge in that matchup. But what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the Lakers. I think they're gonna win. If people want, like, I'm looking at FanDuel, there is like you can place bets on it. Like the winner, the favorite to win is the Bucks at +160. That's just like they're the favorite just because they have the easier matchup of these two. Like they're the heavier favorite to win their game.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers are second at +230, and then it's Pelicans and it's Pacers. You could also bet the MVP. So instead of thinking who's going to win, like just the team, you could call your shot on the player and get better odds there. You can also bet like the exact outcome. So like Bucks beat Lakers is +400. Lakers beat Bucks is +480. So there's different ways, which I think is kind of cool.
That is cool. Pacers, Pelicans, Tyrese Halliburton MVP, in-season tournament MVP. Because whoever wins and has the best performance is definitely going to win the MVP for the in-season tournament. Like
for sure. And like if you think like instead of betting the Pacers to win, just bet on Halliburton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like there's, I guess the odds might not be any different. But anyways, we can move on unless you have any last thoughts.
No, just like as I'm watching, it's like, why didn't Team USA and FIBA run their whole team through Halliburton and just have everyone else kind of be like role players? Like you like look at this stuff and it's like, I don't know what their balanced approach was. Like, why were they letting, Jalen Brunson handle the ball as much as he was? I hate to say it, but it's like looking at how good the Pacers are, I feel like more international teams would kind of benefit from that. Like, yeah, we have a collection of stars, but we also know what works best. Like, I don't know.
And sometimes you just need someone to orchestrate offense. It's like you can have all the star power in the world. You just need someone to run your offense, like someone to be the quarterback to use that term again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we can move on to the NBA stock report. So again, one team stock up, down, one player stock up, down. That we're each going to do. The only caveat that I'll say here is it's basically what you think is going to happen the rest of the season. So you're calling your shot about like if you're picking a team stock up, you think that where they will finish the year is going to be higher than where they are now. And I'm not necessarily saying record or seeding. It's however you want to interpret that. And then, so for example, if you were to take and this is the example I gave in our group chat, the Pistons stock down, you're basically saying you think that they are going to be worse than a team that's lost 17 straight and that is currently 2-18. So that's kind of the context that we're looking for. So I'll let you start. We'll start with the teams first. We'll be positive and we'll start with the stock up. So who'd you put for your team for the stock up?
Nice. I was having some trouble with this, but because that's the thing, I don't want to buy because they're already peaking right now. But I'm gonna keep buying my Oklahoma City shares. They are insane. They've continued to stay at the top. I think they're off to a hot start, and unlike kind of like comparisons to other young teams that have done well and then kind of flamed out, like really looking at the Pelicans last year, I just think Oklahoma City is putting everything together right now. Shea is that dog. He's continued to just put up crazy stats. In advanced stats, that Oklahoma City has a net rating of 8.3, only behind Boston, who people are saying is by far and away the best roster and team in the NBA right now. I believe Oklahoma City is second in the West.
That's correct.
Standings. Yeah. So, and I think that's where they belong, and I think that they're going to stay there. I mean, the Nuggets could leapfrog them. I think the Wolves are also going to be up there. Like, they're going to continue to win, but Oklahoma City just has so many ways that they can beat you. I think they're a more evolved team where like the Orlando Magic, who I'm going to get into a little bit later, they play a really aggressive style. It leads to regular season success, but when you look at their scoring, I think they're only scoring about 114 points per game. For reference, the Pacers are putting up like 128 or something like that, like 125 points per game. And I think like having a younger team that plays a physical play style, that has a few young stars on the team, is going to lead to wins against bad teams. But then I think eventually it's going to regress to the mean. I think the Thunder, if anything, is just going to continue to shoot up in the West. They're going to continue to beat teams like all of the teams below them. I would take them against the Lakers. I would take them against the Mavs, Kings, Suns, Pelicans, like just overall top to bottom. I was buying Thunder stock before, going to continue to buy now. Chet Holmgren has been everything and more for the Thunder. They always play him in closing minutes, comes up big with the blocks. Both Jalen Williams have been playing well, but the shooting guard, Jalen Williams, kind of like Shea, can just take over at times with his own possessions. They all play really hard. They're all shooting well. I just think this is the season of Oklahoma City, and I am continuing to buy stock in them. Even at, I'm paying at premium, and I might lose. I was going to say, so
I'm not gonna say a single negative thing about Oklahoma City. And when we get to my player stock up, you like the argument I'm going to say against you is a similar argument someone could say against me. But looking at them right now, they're the second seed in the West. They where my notes go. Their current win percentage is the pace of a 56 win team, and their net rating is, as you mentioned, 8.4, which is the second best in the NBA. The Celtics are number one at 8.5, so a fraction of a difference in terms of net rating. So there's like, if you think that they're going to be better, you're either saying they're going to win more than 56 games, which is totally possible, that they're going to be the one seed in the West, and that they're going to be the one seed in net rating. So it can happen. And I love Oklahoma City. It's you're buying stock. You're buying Amazon stock, basically saying it's already really high and it's going to go even higher.
I love
I'm not going to talk. Yeah, I get it. I mean, Apple stock, Google. Yeah. But I get it. I'm not going to talk. I mean, Oklahoma City is awesome. Chet's the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. I think we all predicted that. So go us. I think we also smashed the Oklahoma City over, if I remember correctly. At least I know I did. So I'll take a brag there.
And it was higher than the other teams in the West.
It was a little bit, yeah. The team that I chose for my stock up was the Cavaliers. So they're currently, and I kind of viewed this in terms of just their seeding. And again, you can kind of take it whatever way you want. They're currently the 8th seed in the East. And my prediction basically is that they're not going to stay in the play-in. Like, I think that they will be a playoff team. So the 7 teams above them are the Celtics, and this is in order. The Celtics, Bucks, the Magic, the Sixers, Knicks, Pacers, and Heat. Now, I think, and you can disagree with me, that the top 3, or maybe not will be the top 3, but these 3 teams are locks to be in the playoffs. They're not going to be in the play-in. Are the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Sixers. I believe you can make an argument for the Magic, the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Heat to all be play-in teams. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cavs ended up finishing above one of those 4 teams, the non-Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers. I honestly thought, just as a quick side note, about taking the Sixers, but they're the 4th seed in the East, and they have the 3rd best net rating. So it's like, again, they don't have that much higher. I think they're going to be the 2nd seed, actually, is my prediction. I think they're going to finish ahead of the Bucks, but that's neither here nor there. Now I'm looking at the Cavs.
Well, because
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna get to the next thing, so I want you to finish your Cavs spiel.
Okay,
I mean, that's a great pick. Yeah,
we're gonna have the same stock down, but I'll just because I have the same thing that you do. And we didn't like talk about this beforehand. We both came to these independently, but anyways, just to finish out my thoughts. So the Cavs are currently 11-9, but they started like 4-6, I think, because I looked at their schedule since November 15th. They're 7-3 with the 2nd best defensive net rating in the NBA. And if you remember, Jared Allen, and they're basically their entire team. Like they haven't had their entire team healthy for the entire year. At first, Jared Allen was hurt, and then everybody's missed time. I've always said that the best ability is availability, so they need to get healthy and they need to play. Shout out Griffin with that one. And like, yeah, their defensive net rating is a small sample size because it's 10 games. But last year, they had the best defense in the NBA according to net rating, and that's what propelled them to, I think, the 4 seed. If I remember correctly, they were the 4 seed. Their offense is still an issue. Like even in this stretch where they're 7-3, their offense is only 23rd in terms of net rating. And to me, I think that's just like Donovan Mitchell is super inconsistent. He'll have blow up games, but he'll also have games where he like barely gets to 20 points. But I'm a believer in the Cavs. Like Max Strus has been awesome. I'm a huge fan of Darius Garland.
Strus has been a perfect addition to that team. Like
He's
they
been
just
awesome.
need a wing that can shoot, and he's the perfect guy to have.
Exactly. So yeah, my basically my stock up is the Cavs, and my prediction is that they finish top 6 in the East, and they're currently 8th. So it's not a super hot take, but that's kind of my thoughts there. We're gonna have the same team stock down, which again is funny because we didn't like talk about it. I'm guessing it's the Orlando Magic because you hinted at it. I also have the Orlando Magic. But since you went first with team stock up, I'll let you go first for the Magic as well. And if I have anything to add, I will.
Well, I was just gonna say, just for kind of the reasons that I was listening before, I think they're off to a really hot start. But I mean, when a team like the Brooklyn Nets owns you, it's not that great. Which I was thinking, I talked a lot about the Pacers to start the show. I didn't want to pick the Nets because I was going to get into my player prop, but they did surprise me with their advanced stats and some of their shooting stats at actually how well they're doing here. But Orlando Magic, they're just not the greatest shooting team. And I think they're like, let me see what their stats are here. Their per 100 stats, they're like 18th. Let's see what there are, like 100 points per game. Let's see. 113.7 per 100, which again, like they play at a high intensity. Jalen Suggs, I think, is top 5 in steals per game. I do like what a lot of their younger players are bringing to the table. The Wagner brothers, but Franz Wagner is ridiculous. Paulo Banchero is a superstar in the making. He's not quite there yet, but I just think they're off to a really hot start right now. I think they're 3 right now in the Eastern Conference with just the Celtics and Bucks ahead of them. And just looking at the Eastern Conference, I mean, I could see them being at like the 10-11 seed realistically after the season ends up, because the Heat are always going to stay there. The Cavs, I agree with you, are going to be on the rise and going to play better. The Knicks, I think 5 is perfect. The Cavs and Knicks were 4 and 5 last year because that was the first playoff matchup where I was surprised the Knicks actually came out and balled and ended up beating the Cavs. I think the Hawks are kind of a 500 team right now, but if anything, I think that they're going to surge a little bit and work their way into the playoffs. So there's just a lot of teams that I think are going to continue to play better and go on the rise, where I think the Magic got off to a hot start, but I don't think they're going to maintain that. But is there anything else that you wanted to add here with the Magic?
No, I mean, nothing that you missed. I think that like my logic was like they're 9-1 in their last 10 games and they had a 9-game winning streak and they just lost their last game. I just looked it up because I was curious. They're currently getting smoked by the Cavs. So that's not great. It's good for me. But yeah, I mean, they're the 3rd seed in the West. They're 14-6. Like I talked about when you said the Thunder, I said they have a win percentage that would make them a 56 win team. Well, right now, the Magic have a win percentage that if you extrapolated that out for 82 games would be like a 57, 58 win team. Like that's not going to happen. So
no way.
I think it makes sense that we both kind of came to the Magic because they're the obvious one. Like even if they won 50 games, I wouldn't be surprised. They're not going to finish, in my opinion, the third seed in the East, and they're not going to win 57 or 58 games. Like their advanced stats, like I look at net rating, we kind of just look at different stuff, not that one's better than the other, but they're 6th in net rating. So again, this isn't me saying that they're bad, but they're 15th on offense and they're 3rd on defense. Like that's not a top 3 seed, and that's not a 57 win team. Eventually, like their lack of shooting is going to come back to hurt them because as good as Paolo and Franz are, they don't have a shooting threat really. Like even Suggs, who's their point guard, hasn't quite gotten to the De'Aaron Fox level of developing a jumper.
So I'm relying on Joe Ingles to hit all your threes.
Yeah, that's the scary part. When you have Joe Ingles as your best shooter, and he's been great for them, but that's kind of, I mean, he's a good shooter, but not someone necessarily you want to rely on for heavy minutes. So yeah, all right, we're both fading the Orlando Magic. Player stock up. Sounds like it's going to be someone on the Nets, and I'm going to guess it's Cam Thomas.
It is. You are correct. So what I want to see in this player stock up, Cam had a really hot start to the season. Right now, currently in this season, I mean, 22-23, he had 3 straight 40-point games, but his still like points per game average at the end of the year was 10 points per game. He was only averaging 16 minutes at the time. This year he's jumped. He's playing 32 minutes a game. Part of that was injuries, but I think that after he started to consistently show that he can score, he's earned his minutes. He's not the complete loss on defense that he's been. He's starting to actually become more decisive in his scoring, and that's something that we've consistently seen. I know that you were big about hammering the Cam Thomas under. I forgot which night it was. It's like after he puts up 40, there's no way he's going to put up 30. And I think he got to like 25 or something, which wasn't the worst. But
I forget what it was, but he went under. Yeah, I forget what it was, but he did go under. Yeah.
And I think like the Nets are a really interesting team to me this year because they're looking for that score. They have a guy at night that can go off. Mikal Bridges is showing that he can consistently score, but still has trouble like being that guy you can run an offense around and creating his own shot. He's definitely working better when the team's working better and he's working those backdoor cuts. Cam Johnson's a complimentary piece. Same with Dorian Finney-Smith. What the Nets really need is a guy that can just, in 2 minutes left in the game, they're always in it, and they don't know what to do with the ball. They have Royce O'Neal bringing the ball up, and that's not going to lead to any success on offense. And I think Cam Thomas his stock is pretty high right now, I guess, but it's only 10 games played, so I just want to see the consistent pattern afterwards. But I think that over 25 points per game scorer, shooting with the efficiencies that he has, he's shooting 46% of the from the field, 35% from three. If he can continue to score and they could look to him in big moments, I think that's going to help the Nets a lot. They're sitting at number 9 right now, but I think they're one of those teams that could potentially leapfrog the Magic in the Eastern Conference and maybe work their way into like 6th seed would be a lot, but I think they would be one of those playing teams that have a home court advantage. And I just like watching him play. I think that his game's comfortable. It's not always streaky. When he looks to score, it's because they need someone to score, and all the best players do that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, whenever the Thunder are working with their team offense, I think they work best, but you also have to pick and choose when to score. Tyrese Halliburton's been doing a good job of that too. You see it with a lot of the star players. I think this is a guy that the Nets are going to lean on, and I am purchasing Cam Thomas stock.
Not surprising. Also not a great night. He's currently shooting 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3, and has 2 points.
Shooters got to shoot.
Shooters got to shoot through a slump. I'm not a Cam Thomas guy. I'll just be honest. He's just not my style of player. Like I hate the guys that are just bucket getters, and do literally nothing else. You said his defense has gotten better prior to this year. Like he was not a plus defender. He averages less than 4 rebounds and less than 2.5 assists per game. Like if he's not getting buckets, he's a net negative to your team. At least like another player, a better player that I also didn't like was Michael Porter Jr., who's turned himself into like a phenomenal team defender. One-on-one, he's still bad, but he can make rotations. Like he can like with pick and roll and they're switching, he's pretty good with that. And he's a great rebounder, which Cam Thomas is not. And I don't think he's a good enough scorer to be a non-factor in everything else. Like he's got 4 turnovers. Like I'm just not a Cam Thomas guy. I understand, like he's averaging 26 points per game. So I understand the logic for sure. Just not my style of player. Do you have a rebuttal?
I was just going to say, I mean, you kept going to the rebounds. The Nets are the best rebounding team in the league right now. So I think, they got guys that do all the other gritty work. They just need
that's
a bucket
true.
getter right now, which I know it's tough for their style of play, but that's honestly like the missing piece for this team. They have plenty of 3-and-D. They're like the Raptors, where they have like a lot of similar style players that could probably be good trade assets for other team, but they do play a pretty style of basketball. They love pushing the pace. This is just, you can't really go to like Lonnie Walker to be the guy that is like the most creative scorer that you have on your team at the end of the game.
I guess I think they need a facilitator more so than they need a scorer. Like Mikal Bridges is a great second or third option. Cam Johnson is a great second or third option. Nick Claxton is a great center who shoots left hand or like shoots with both hands, but not even like at the free throw line. I just don't think they need a Cam Thomas. I think they need like a Fred VanVleet or like someone more so in that line who can just run offense, just get you into your sets. Will shoot when he's open. Like if it's not someone like Cam Thomas, who's like discount Carmelo Anthony.
Or a Ben Simmons will just do a handoff screen.
Yeah. Well, my stock down, if we just want to talk, is Ben Simmons. I don't think. No, I'm just kidding. I actually did write that down as a joke, but
I have it in my notes too. My stock down is belief in Ben Simmons.
Yeah, my stock down is that I don't think he plays in NBA. I don't think he plays ever again. Like this is now the third straight year. Whether his back issues are real or not, I'm never gonna say someone's faking an injury. Either they're bad enough that can't play, which is what's happening, or he's mentally like bad enough where he can't play. Either way, I just don't think he's going to play again. My stock up is the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, because he's currently the favorite to win MVP, but he's at plus money. He's plus 150. The more the season goes on, the more those odds are going to be in favor of Jokic, and they're going to be less favorable to bet. So that's why I chose Jokic. And again, but he's only like plus money because it's the beginning of the year, and generally, like when things get closer in the award, it becomes more obvious. Like the odds are not going to be as favorable. Mm-hmm. But he just doesn't get hurt, so there's like no risk of him getting hurt. He just I don't want to jinx that because I love Jokic after roasting him for years. But like he's not going to get hurt, and I think he's just going to run away with the MVP. Like I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be unanimous. Like a couple Steph years, and I think Giannis maybe one year was unanimous. I can't remember. But I don't think it's going to be close. Like I think it's going to be he's like obviously the MVP. The Nuggets are the third seed, as you mentioned. The Timberwolves and Thunder are ahead of them. I'm not saying it's a lock that they're going to be the 1 seed, but I don't think that both those teams are going to be above them. I think they're going to finish above one of the Timberwolves or Thunder. And his stats are silly. He's averaging 28.9 points per game. That's a career high. He's averaging 12.8 rebounds. That's a career high. He's averaging 9.8 assists. That's tied with last year for a career high. He's top 10 in all three of those categories. He's 8th in the NBA in scoring. He's number 1 in rebounds, and he's 3rd in assists. He's just a ridiculous player that we're used to him being ridiculous. So it's like, don't take LeBron for granted. Now it's like, don't take Jokic for granted. But he's the favorite to win the MVP, but he's just going to become more and more of the favorite as the season goes on. And I just think that like he's having a better year than last year, a better year than both years he won MVP. So I'm here to tell you that Nikola Jokic is a good basketball player.
No, I love that take, especially since like, yeah, if anything, people were thinking, oh, they know what they need to do to win now. He'll just like coast again and then they'll just continue to win. It's like, no, I'm just going to be even better than I was last year.
Going to be literally better. Yeah. I mean, he's incredible.
One of the most dominant points. And he scores from everywhere, which is the thing too. It's like, if he was just like a Shaq type center, it's like, okay, I get it. Like points per game, rebounds per game, why he's so up, but he runs the entire offense. It's silly how many like stats, but then advanced stats he leads in. He leads the league in win shares, offensive win shares, win shares per 48 minutes, box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, value over replacement player, like assist percent. It's insane. Like he does this all as a center who looks like he drinks like 3 Diet or Coca-Colas a day, like 12-liter bottles of Coke. Like,
yeah,
and he's just killing it.
Yeah. There's this one story. Someone went to go interview him, and he brought like a tub of ice cream and just ate the entire tub of ice cream over the course of the interview. It's like, and then he looks like when he plays, he looks like he just woke up from a nap. And he's like, oh, I guess I got to go play basketball now. Okay, I guess I'll just be the best player on the court, and
very,
also in the entire NBA.
Very Jalen Hurts of him to not show a lot of emotion.
Yeah, except Hurts, his not showing emotion is intensity. Jokic is like boredom. He's like, I'm too good that I'm not even enjoying this.
Yeah, it's like, this is basketball. I've already dominated, and I'm
he's already won.
Gonna continue to dominate.
Yeah, it's like he won. It's like when you beat a video game and you never play it again. It's like, I already beat basketball. Why am I still playing? I guess I'll just go do it again. Yeah,
he's insane though. Jokic is incredible. I'm excited to talk about players that we're selling stock of.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Who you got?
So I had a few notes. I was really high on this guy before the season, so I'm selling my DeAndre Ayton stocks. Again, I might have misinterpreted this exercise because I'm selling people that are low and buying people that are high. But just the team also that I was kind of like put as like a sell and had some notes. Well, DeAndre Ayton, Blazers are just figuring things out. Obviously, Scoot is not as polished as I thought he would be coming in. Jurkic is out playing Ayton and looks much better on the Suns than I think Ayton would and did look last season. He's dealing with injury issues again. I think that he was questionable in their next Lakers game. He's averaging like 12 points per game, 10 rebounds, just not really dominating. So I'm kind of off the DeAndre Ayton hype. I thought that, maybe the Blazers did get a lot. They're clearly in the rebuild. I don't really think he's going to be that much of an impact player. I don't know how many years he's going to continue to be that much of an impact player. So I'm selling the DeAndre Ayton stocks. Belief in Ben Simmons. Draymond with a higher 3-point percentage than Steph is something that I was also selling. But James Harden too. I think that he's cooked. I think he's done.
He's toast. Yeah, he's toast.
I think the Clippers at times look better without him. They looked more energized than before James Harden got there. I think they were saying like his plus minus since James Harden got added to the team is like 0 in all the Clippers games so far, and they've lost a lot of those. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's done, and I think another guy to just continue to dribble the basketball is not what the Clippers needed. If their season goes south, I'm going to be interested to see what happens on that team between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi can even look like Kawhi again was the only chance that I think the Clippers are going to have a shot at the play-in. But even then, I don't think that's what they were anticipating putting this team together. So headliner was Ayton, but special mention, James Harden.
Well, I mean, you're preaching to the choir with both Ayton and James Harden. I've never believed in either of those players. Well, James Harden, I believed in when he was better. I haven't believed in him recently, I should say. When James Harden was on the Rockets, I loved him. He was awesome. I loved him that first year with the Nets. He was awesome. I've hated what he's turned into. And Ayton, I've just never been a believer in DeAndre Ayton. I thought I was wrong. The playoff run when the Suns went to the finals when he was fantastic, but I've been proven right, at least since then. My stock down, my real one, my fake one is Ben Simmons, who I actually do not think he will play basketball again. My real one is Jason Tatum. I don't think that again, these stock downs, it's not like these teams suck. I think that their value or how they're playing the rest of the year will not be as good as how they're currently playing. And for Tatum, last year, and we talked about this on this podcast, we were impressed with Jason Tatum because he finally started going to the rim and drawing contact and getting fouled. And I looked this up because I wanted to make sure that I was correct in remembering this. Last year, he averaged the most free throw attempts of his career at 8.4. Mm-hmm. The year before that, 2 years ago, when we were roasting him, and this was during the playoff run, because he's just stopped going to the rim when they went to the finals, he averaged that year, this is regular season, but whatever, 6.2 free throw attempts per game. This year, he's at 6.5. It's the same issue with Tatum, which is he's a Celtic, so I have to hate him. Obviously, he's a Dookie. I have to hate him. But as a player, it's so visually frustrating to watch him just fall in love. He loves the tough jump shot. It's like the sidestep mid-range. It's the step back from three-pointer. It's like he's posting up and then fade away, not in the paint, but like a mid-range jumper. He loves the Kobe shot. He loves the late career Kobe shot. And when he's on, it's fantastic. He put up 45 points against Charlotte. But then he have games like against Toronto, shout out Elliott. He was 8 of 22 from the field. And he was 1 of 11 from 3. It's like, dude, go to the rim. If you're not late career James Harden. You are more than capable of going to the rim. And then a game against the Sixers, he was 6 of 14 from the field. And he was 2 of 6 from 3. So at least he didn't attempt as many as many 3-pointers. But it's like, what I love about Jimmy Butler, he never shoots. So this isn't an issue, but it's like, I don't care who's on defense and I don't care what defense they're running. If my game isn't quite right, I'm just going to get fouled. I'm going to go to the rim. I'm going to get fouled and I'm going to make free throws. And that's how I'm going to find myself getting into a rhythm. And Tatum did that last year. And I think he realized this shit's tiring. So he stopped. Yeah. And then this year, he scored 30 or more points in 5 of the first 6 games. Since then, he's only done it 4 times. And my logic for actually the stock down is he's right now he's 5th in MVP voting, tied for 3rd tied for 4th with Giannis and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There's a 3-way tie for the 4th best odds. I do not think he's going to finish top 5 or top 4 in MVP voting. So that's kind of my impetus for selling Jason Tatum stock. Like the Celtics are awesome, and they're much better offensively with Porzingis. Obviously, Porzingis needs to get healthy. Derek White's incredible. Like he just doesn't need to carry as much of a load. He's a good rebounder, but like that's not going to win MVP. He's a fine passer, but he's not like a Jokic level passer, so that's not going to get MVP votes. So yeah, I'm fading Jason Tatum, which that feels great to say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with those points because even before this, I feel like Tatum's knock was that he does shoot them out of games sometimes because he's not going to stop taking those ridiculous jump shots.
Exactly.
He's just going to keep pulling it. And who else looks for, who's like, all right, if he's doing that, I'm going to do it, but then try to make it. Jaylen Brown. Like, I feel like they try to one-up each other a lot with these dumb shots. And it's like, you have such a talented offensive team. You can definitely work the ball around to get a better shot than that. Or when you're open, just actually pull the trigger with an open, clean shot. Like you said, like he can easily drive when he wants. He had a really beautiful move around Halliburton where I think he did a post move, worked around him, got a dunk in the paint, like just all footwork, all hesitation. Like he has all the talent in the world, but you're right. Like he's got to be smarter. If his shot's not there, drive, get to the line, work in a rhythm, or just utilize all the other amazing players on your team. And if it's not your night, just pass the ball a little more and drive. Like there's nothing wrong with that. LeBron would do that all the time. I mean, because he wasn't always the best shooter. He's not going to be jacking threes if he can't make it. It's just, all right, jump shot's not there. I'm driving it. No one's going to stop me in the paint. I'm just going to live off free throws tonight. And yeah, that's not a good trend if his free throw attempts is going down, because that literally just means you're not driving to the basket. Zach Lowe's like, if Ben Simmons doesn't have any free throw attempts, and that's like a big indicator of you're not playing aggressive. You're not trying to get to the rim. You're scared of shooting. All of those things are indicators of free throws down. But yeah, I'm with you there. I think almost like to the Brock Purdy effect too, because the Celtics are so talented. It's really hard to like give him MVP, and he's not even, I mean, he is the most important person on that team, but it's not like the quarterback where everyone is like unanimously said, like he's by far and away the most important position or player in the position of for football. But yeah, I like that take, and fuck Duke and fuck the Celtics. So
yeah, I mean, it was very easy for me to find the energy to get that one out. And I'm generally like, I love his bag, for lack of a better word. Like he has an awesome skill set of an offensive player. He just, for whatever reason, and I don't know if he's scared of getting injured, because he's always been healthy through his entire career. He had injuries in the playoffs 2 years ago. He had like the shoulder stinger, which is, I'm guessing, why he stopped going to the rim in the playoffs last year or 2 years ago when they went to the finals. Like he has a great package, a nice big package. He's just got to use it. He's just got to use it better.
And it's like the difficult shots, like a lot of shots, like Luka and Halliburton have made. I mean, Luka's been feasting off his step back threes, and they always look like tough shots, but that's his rhythm. Like he gets in the step back. When he releases off a step back, I feel like he can make it on any point in the court, and he has done that. So and I think like just
lives at the free throw line.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's
Luka,
like another huge thing.
Another thing I was buying is the Mavs regression to the mean. They're like 11-8 now. And unless Luka is literally giving them an all world night, which he has to do every night, they're not going to be competitive and they're not going to win. I mean, they literally went on a 30-0 run against the Thunder and still lost.
Yeah. So we can talk about like who like honorable mentions. So my honorable mention for stock down for team was the Mavericks. But then I look at it, it's like they're the 6th seed. They're 11-8. Like they started 5-0 or something. Like they're 4-6 in their last 10. So I kind of think, and I said this on a podcast, maybe it was 2 weeks ago on our podcast, that like maybe it was the real or not real, where I was like, if Mavericks, I would have said not real, because I just was never a believer in them. And then for stock up, I initially had the Pelicans, but then again, they're 12-10. Like they have one more win and one more loss than the 5 seed and the 6 seed and the Mavericks and the Kings. So I was like, maybe they're really not, or 2 more losses. Sorry. They're 12-10. The other teams are 11-8. But I was like, am I really confident that they're going to not be a play-in team? Like the West is so jumbled, and like the Warriors are not even in the playoffs. The Suns are the 7 seeds. Like I wasn't necessarily as confident calling my shot with the team in the West. I think you already mentioned yours, but do you have any other teams that you thought about and that you ended up not going with?
I mean, an honorable mention by that we just eviscerated this team, and I know Griffin was so happy to talk about it. Just the end of the Warriors, I could just see them bouncing back because they always do, and because Steph Curry is still playing at an insanely high level.
Yeah,
I was looking at like 3-pointers made, and he still has like a huge jump over everybody else. And I thought that was surprising. I was like, everyone's shooting threes now. Like he's got to have some competition, and he still by far and away leads that category. So as long as he's playing like world-class basketball, top 3 player basketball, like I think that the Warriors will come around. So that's a team that I was thinking about putting as a buy, just because of course, as they're down, they could rack off like 15 straight wins and immediately be in the playoff picture again. Player, this one's a little more gross because just hearing about the Mavs, you don't really hear about Kyrie Irving. I was like, I could buy Kyrie being a lot better. I mean, tonight
he hasn't done anything.
Yes, I mean, he had 39 against the Bucks on the 18th. I'm just looking at his stats right now. Like he's averaging 24, like 37% from 3. So he's not shooting as well as he has. And especially with the Nets, like as the second fiddle to KD, they weren't that great. They were really good when James Harden got there, but just KD and Kyrie wasn't that great. But I didn't really want to buy stock in Kyrie Irving. So
yeah, and I agree with you. Like it's probably more likely than not that he plays better than he's playing, because like he's averaging 33 minutes per game, which is low. He's scoring less than 24. He's 23.6, like 4 rebounds, 5.5 assists. Like his stats are down across the board. So you're probably right, but also if it's coming for him, like last game, 13 points against the Jazz. Prior to that, or no, sorry, that's tonight. Sorry. What I was looking at was last game, 10 points against the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
He's 3 of 15 and 0 for 5 from field.
That was the Luka-less game too, right?
Yeah, exactly. But everybody thought he was going to blow up. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in tonight. He's sucking as well. Actually, I don't know what point in the game it is, so I guess I shouldn't say that.
I think he's got 13 minutes played with 13 points, so he's doing all right. But
I guess that's pretty good.
6 for 9 shooting, 1 for 4 from 3.
6 for 9 is very nice.
The three ball not being there, nice. But also, I was gonna buy stock in Kevin Durant still being just top 3, maybe the best scorer in the NBA. Watching that Suns game, it's like I was reminiscent of watching a lot of those Nets losses, because it seemed like they would play a team, big stage, big game. Kevin Durant shoots lights out, but then still like falls short on the last attempt. It's like he can't do everything to win the game. Someone else has to step up. But he can still carry a team, which is crazy. And his game is just so much fun to watch.
I mean, KD's incredible, and he's just as good as ever. Booker was who led it. Like Booker wasn't bad.
He had like 7 turnovers, I think.
Yeah,
so.
he had like 22 or something points. Like his output wasn't quite there. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Like Kevin, his stock is already so high. I chose Jokic, so obviously you could choose the best player in the league and still go stock up. No shame in that. But cool. All right, good episode. Thanks, Matt. Any last thoughts?
Sunday night, gonna be a big game.
I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. It's gonna be a big game. Next week it's gonna be, no matter how it goes, one of us is gonna be very upset. So we'll have to see how next episode goes.
Fuck the Niners. I know we can both agree on that.
Yeah, that we can agree. Yeah, they're gonna lose in the playoffs. I mean, come on, there's no way. Kyle Shanahan's a loser. He's a coward. Their Super Bowl was on Sunday, and they won the Super Bowl. Congratulations. They are now Super Bowl champions.
Well, last time they did that, the George Kittle fuck Dallas shirt. They gave all their energy to that and then lost 3 straight. So I would not mind to see them come down to earth a little bit. Although they did coincide with Deebo Samuel also being hurt, but I'm going to ignore that.
It was Deebo being out and Trent Williams was out too. But yes, it was after Dallas. They blew their load against Dallas, and then they lost 3 straight. So if they lost 3 straight again, that would be very nice. But we will see. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, appreciate you for listening. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Ciao.